Welcome back to Build Your Empire Through Real Estate. I am your host, Alexis Halikas, and I have a very special guest on with us today, a friend, client, and an incredible leader, Molly Hassler. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here today.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to have you, and I know the listeners are going to get a lot out of today's call. So just to give everybody a better idea of who Molly is, Molly Hassler is the CEO of Keller Williams Northern Michigan, where she leads one of the fastest growing and most culture-driven real estate organizations in the region. Her leadership philosophy is rooted in a simple belief that when you build people first, the business naturally follows. Molly began her real estate career as a new agent with Keller Williams in California and quickly rising to become a top producer before transitioning into leadership. That hands-on experience of building a business from the ground up continues to shape how she leads today. It also shapes how she coaches and develops agents. With over 17 years of leadership experience, Molly's background includes managing within $1 billion organization, building her own successful real estate business, and now operating at a high level within Keller Williams. She's passionate about developing top talent, fostering a high-performance environment, and helping agents create businesses that support lives they truly enjoy. Molly, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. So
let's get into
kick us
it.
off. Let's get into it. So you are KW, you are in Northern Michigan as a team leader there, and you currently have how many agents?
I have 112 agents as of today.
I love it. And you've been in the role for a little bit over a year, and some pretty incredible, wins that I would say, just working alongside you, is you are dialing in, getting producers to join your team. 12 producing agents just as of the last, 12 months. So, and a huge pipeline of what we call at Keller Williams R2s, but producing agents, right? Tell me a little bit about what has led you, what do you attribute to that success? What has led you to that consistency?
Well, that is a loaded piece of toast because moving from California to Michigan and adopting this market center, if you will, has had a lot of moments of, okay, how do we move forward from here, right? You adopt what you know and what you don't know. And moving into this role, I learned a lot about what I didn't know. The culture was not where it needed to be. The ALC was almost non-existent. It definitely wasn't functioning and leading to involvement. And coming in and learning, hey, I need a leadership team in-house that's going to help foster and nurture where we're, or the direction that we're going in, right? So coming in and deciding to part ways with the leadership team that was here, interview, hire new ones, and coach and develop them as well. So there's been a lot of rebuilding that first year, and it's led me to where I am today because now we have the systems in place and the people in place.
Yeah, I love that. And it sounds like now naturally what you've done is you've re-shifted focus, energy, and culture that now with how big of a pipeline of top talent that is coming in the doors, by the way, of the market center to say, where can I sign? You naturally have been able to shift that culture and now start to attract, which is everybody in our industry's goal.
Yes. And I mean, the thing about leadership is that when you're the leader in the building, you are the ceiling. You are the ceiling. And I don't take that lightly. I take that very seriously. My agents, my people will only ever grow to the capacity that I'm willing to grow to. So with that being said, when I look at leadership, I'm not a warm body in a building. I'm the opposite of that. I'm a true leader, and I'm coming in to lead people to the greatest potential, right?
Yeah, I love that. That's so good. Well, I know you do a lot of things consistently, but what would you say is the one thing that you do so consistently that it's really ultimately gotten you here to where you are today?
I spend 10 minutes every morning reviewing the GPS. I want to know and be reminded and know by the back of my hand where my market center is headed. So by reviewing my GPS every single morning, I look at my calendar. Are my activities aligning with where we want to go? It's so easy to get distracted and frustrated and even burned out when you're constantly looking from only a zoom out of like big picture versus zoom in. Are these activities actually lining up?
What are some activities you've recently gotten rid of that you don't feel like have been in alignment with your goals and your GPS? And for those listening that don't know, GPS business, right? Your business plan.
Just time audits, right? So one thing that is really easy to do is to get distracted as a leader, right? And the one thing that I'm, I guess, really good at is compartmentalizing. So in my mind, I have kind of a red light, green light, right? There could be 15 things going on, but the reality is that those 5 things are yellows. They can wait. They're not here and they're not right now. They can wait a couple hours or even tomorrow morning, right? But the red alert things need to be handled now. So it's also prioritizing red alerts with your like activities of your day that make growth possible.
Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah, I know you're big on time management, and it does allow for us to have to ultimately prioritize exactly what we need to do and what we should be doing, right? So that we can
Right.
say no to the rest. One thing that I also want to give you kudos on, because you're being modest, is the other thing that Molly does extremely consistently is post on social media and tell her market center story. You have been really, really great at that. Obviously, you've got some systems and leverage in place through NurturPro, and you yourself are really dialed in at that. Has that always been something you've been dialed in with? Is that easy for you? Talk to me a little bit more about that.
That is easy for me. It's just something that I've always done. And I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful to come alongside of my agents. And if I can share their journey or their wins and celebrate them on my social media, I want to be a part of that. I look at my agents as you chose me to be in business with you. And how beautiful is that, right? So if there's a win happening in the market center, I'm all over that. And honestly, I want the world to know.
Yeah, no, I love that. And as you and I were talking even before starting the podcast, we were talking about, speaking of wins, you guys shared almost 6 figures in profit share back to your agents in 2025. And for those that are familiar, you know exactly how powerful that is. And for you, those of you who aren't familiar, it means that they did so well financially last year that the owners were able to profit share back to the agents who helped grow the company almost 6 figures in 2025 alone. I mean, that's just incredible. Talk about shifting in the culture. Talk to me more about that.
So something that actually bothers me about profit share is looking at my roster, only a third of my agents utilize profit share, which means almost 6 figures went back to a third of our agent count, which is not little money. This is serious money. My mission is to educate all of our agents of what profit share is, how to build your dial-up, and how important it is, right? And something I'm super proud of is in 2026 year to date, I've had one of my R2s add 3 to his level 1 downline just because of the commitment of the education around it. And that is beautiful. That is growth. Like he's getting his piece of the pie, right? That's awesome.
And I'm sure so many people are curious. You know, we have a lot of team leaders throughout Keller Williams that listen to this podcast for strategies. And I heard in there, how did you get a new producing agent you recruited to refer 3 producing agents who have now since joined? Like, what did you offer them? Was it just coaching and information? Was it a disappearing cat model, a bonus model? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Sure. So that's kind of a multi-layered question, right? One, it was just educating what profit share is and how to get somebody on your downline, and then how it's paid out, and going into the model of where this money actually comes from. And then 3, we did roll out a growth initiative. So if one of our local agents brought in a producing capping agent, we would take a certain dollar amount off their cap for the rolling next 12 months. This allowed them to make it a win-win-win, right? And that's part of our core values is win-win. So we just added a whole nother win on there, right? Is we want to help you take more money home, you help bring more money in, and help that next agent begin producing as well. So it's just a win-win-win.
I love it. It's so good. So good. So tell me, in terms of advice, I get this question a lot. What's a piece of advice that you've received in this role a little over a year now in that you cannot live without?
Focus on the activities and not the results.
Ooh, tell us more.
It is so easy to want to bang your head up against the wall when you're only looking at results. It's so easy to plant seeds and then get frustrated that there's no fruit. Fruit takes time. And if the activities are there, the results are going to be there, and you have to trust that you will pop your head up one day and start eating fruit. But you have to focus on the activities. And this is not a simple role. This is not an easy role. This is not a role that comes without challenges. Like, you will be challenged as a person, as a leader, as all the things. And it's so easy to focus on results and not the activities. And that's just the wrong thing to focus on.
What I love that. A motto I live by, and that is near and dear to my own heart. Tell me, what has shifted for you? What have you noticed when you went from focusing on the a lack of results, when you started focusing on the task versus or the outcome? Tell me what's shifted for you.
The results versus the outcome.
Yeah.
Well, as much as I wanted to be at the GPS for the year in the first quarter, it wasn't realistic, because coming into this role, I had challenges that I had to overcome that were outside of numbers. And the challenges that I had to overcome outside of numbers was just the culture in the office. Coming in and having to rebuild culture, but more importantly, rebuild trust. The former leadership team just wasn't there, and there was trust that needed to be rebuilt in the process of that. And rebuilding trust, especially new to Michigan, new to this role, new to this market center, no one knew me. And I'm just this crazy person coming in, and we're going to do all these growth things, and we're going to make this happen. It was lonely for a little while. And actually coaching with you, I remember a conversation that we had very early on where you're like, Molly, you just come in every day as enthusiastic as you are right now and keep going, keep going. There's going to be no followers for a little while. And then you're going to look back one day and there's going to be people going, oh, wait, she's not crazy. She's actually pretty awesome. This is actually working, right? And that did happen.
Yeah, it did. It absolutely did. And for those that are listening, consistency is king, right? Like, you put in the effort, right? And got real life results, but you were not focused on that first, right? And again, you've shown up consistently, not only on telling your story through social media, but also through just showing up, networking. Every person you get the opportunity to have a conversation with, whether they're your agents or not, right? You show up with that level of enthusiasm, and all of a sudden, you, like you said, you turn around and people are asking where they can get into business with you, which is the goal we all have, right?
Yeah. Well, and there's some pieces to that, right? It's something that I read that just really stuck with me was, how are you supposed to help your agents create the life that they want to live if you don't know what horizon they're actually chasing? Ooh. If you don't know where your top 20% want to go, how can you come alongside of them? And you'll only know that if you have the relationship with them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so good. And now you've got an incredible ALC, Agent Leadership Council, who is invested, dialed in, excited, engaged. And you've done a lot of hard work to get to that point. Like you said, a lot of rebuilding and trust, which is not easy. And I know, even just from personal experience working with hundreds of KW market centers all over the country, there are many that when we take over as leaders, and we've got to do some damage control, whether it's culture or leadership or just shifts in the market, that we've got to help people understand, feel better about, give them a strategy around. And like you said, you were up against a feat, and you've definitely overcome it.
Finally.
Yeah. Well, but besides overcoming that, what would you say is the biggest challenge you've had in this role?
I think really it just comes down to those relationships, right? Like overcoming, well, you know what? Let's actually reframe that. I think that the standard, I set a really high bar. And I set that bar from day one. This is who I am. This is the level I expect. And I believe that when you, for the sake of an airplane, take somebody out of economy and you put them in first class, everything changes. Their posture changes, their language changes, their demeanor changes, because you're holding them to a higher, and I came in here and I was like, this is how we're going to do things. This is the level I expect of you. And this is our core values, and this is how we're going to run this business. It really comes down to people either step up or they get out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, especially when you've set the standard, right?
Right.
Once the standard is set, expectations are either delivered, like you said, they show up, or I always say show out, right? Same,
Right.
same thing. Yeah. Did you, because you were a top agent in Northern California, where you're originally from, and because I know you well, but our listeners may be curious, you did not know anybody in Michigan.
No.
As far as I can remember, it was like literally nobody. But you're obviously those that you did career visioning with, who is your owner partner at the KW. So for those that might be feeling like I don't have real estate experience, or I'm new to this area and I don't know anybody, how did you shape your confidence to get to the level that you are today? And by all means, rebuild an entire culture within a market center that was struggling.
Well, I know KW, right? I've known KW. I've been with us for 5+ years now, and I've been an agent at. So I also came in knowing our core values, knowing what was important, doing career visioning, and the reality is that I came in here with a very clear understanding of what I wanted to accomplish. And I'm just not one of those people that asks for permission. I have a philosophy of bust down the door to the room you want to be in, unapologetically. Just go make it happen. So when I first arrived, within 2 weeks, I'm at the chili cook-off over at Aspire North. Hi, I'm Molly. Bring in the chili. Within a week being here, I was already in Bolt. Like, I'm going to insert myself in the rooms that I belong in. And I'm going to unapologetically introduce myself. And in the space of that, when you continue to show up, people get to know you. And when there's a face that people keep seeing, who is this? And she keeps showing up, they're eventually going to want to know who you are. So a part of it is just get out of your own way and go put yourself in the rooms that you need to be in.
Yeah, I love that. And now you have a huge network there, very respected. And again, for those listening, because I hear the limiting belief or the fear mindset around this all the time. Well, I didn't grow up there, or I don't have a reputation, or I've never done a high level of business in this area. Why would anybody trust me? It is so wild to hear that reframe and that confidence that you exude, as well as that mindset shift. I think that is huge. So big.
Well, and here's the best part. If it's almost better to not know anybody to come in, because the reality is that no one knows anything about you. So you get to be who you are, and they get to learn about it for the very first time.
Yep. With no preconceived notions is what I always say.
Correct. There's no family name attached to it. There's no nothing. It's just, it's almost better than to like grow up and go to high school and graduate there and then I'll be a leader there, right? That's kind of weird.
Right. Or tougher, and for some, that's what you're doing and you're crushing it. I love that. And I hear just a lot of people that struggle with that mindset of, I don't even know anybody. And for me, it was the same. When I moved to Boise, I didn't know a soul besides the owner partners at KW in Boise. And love to be able to show up as who I wanted to be every single day. Right. As we kind of slowly round out, I mean, so many just golden nuggets in this call today. What is one of the biggest, if not biggest, system driver that you can attribute to your recruiting growth and results?
Two things. I would say relationships with your top 20% and automation. Those are the two big things. So your relationships, again, if you want to come alongside your agents, they're going to come alongside of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then two, automation. So you're making the most of your minutes, right? I could be in a meeting and my automation is still working on my behalf. So it's in many ways, it's like I'm in multiple places at one time.
Yeah. Well, and I know from experience, so one of the automated platforms that you guys get the opportunity of leveraging is NurturPro, right? And it does a lot of the automation, smart plans, monthly newsletters, etc. Are you willing to be vulnerable enough with the team leaders who know they need automation, but maybe aren't as easily to adapt or quick to adapt? What advice would you give them, and how does that resonate with you?
Again, get out of your own way, look in the mirror, right? Automation is a tool and it's a partnership, and you still have to do your part to that. NurturPro has been amazing for me. And I mean, I've had agents walk in and say, can you onboard me right now? And NurturPro did the relationship building.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I don't know about you, but do you want, actual producing agents walking your door a minute before close saying, can you onboard me?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
And I love it. And I love that you also too are vulnerable enough to share with those that talk to you about the automation and your experience with it. Hey, like I wasn't quick to realize that I needed it or adopt it. And I love that you're willing to share that story too, because a lot of us as team leaders, we've never been given these types of systems. And so if you're not really used to having that level of leverage,
Right.
sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't know what you don't know, right? And I look at automation as I'm in many rooms at the same time. Mm-hmm. I look at it like I'm having conversations with an agent over there, an agent over there, an agent over there, while in a retention appointment with my top 20%.
Yeah.
Walking out. Look at it from that frame, right?
Walking out, and all of a sudden you look on your calendar and you've got 3 appointments booked for next week, and you've been in, like you said, a retention meeting, or you've been investing in your top agents, or you're hosting a business meeting. And again, it's automation is the ability to duplicate our time, where it's the one resource we can't buy more of, right?
Yes, and we're in the day and age where if you don't have automation, you're behind. Mm-hmm. You're just behind, and that's a problem because it's only moving more and more into the future of AI and tools and this and that. So what sets you apart?
Yeah, 100%. I love that. Well, leave the listeners with this. What's a piece of advice that you would give to other industry professionals, leaders, team leaders, OPs? What's a piece of advice you would like to leave everybody with today?
Alignment between an OP and a TL is the heartbeat, and it's the vital signs. And in many ways, that relationship is so beautiful and has very, very close alignment with like a marriage, right? Like it's the conversations that we're not having that worries me, right? It's not the conversations that we're actually having. So having alignment, having trust in that relationship, having just partnership in that relationship where you guys are focused on the same vision and you're moving forward in the same vision is everything. A TL without the true trust and support of an OP is going to be a really hard thing, and vice versa, right? So taking the time that there's alignment and there's support and trust there is everything. And I'm so fortunate to have like the best OP in the world. But we've taken that time and we've built that relationship, and trust me, I wouldn't move across the country if there wasn't alignment in that. But we are running this business into the future, right? So we have that bond, right? And just that growth mentality, and we're looking at the same horizon.
I love that.
That's just, I think it's everything, right?
Yeah, so good, so good. Molly, is there anything that you want to leave those listening that I didn't get a chance to ask you today?
Nope, I think that's about it. But I think culture for the win every single time.
I love that. If people want more of you, where can they find you?
Socials.
Molly Hassler, Molly.Hassler. Just
Molly Hassler. There you go.
Perfect.
Yep.
First and last name. Awesome, Molly. Well, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and for those that are listening and still with us, thank you for being present today. It's been an honor.
Thank you.
Thanks.